7 days later. Lu Sheng and Dong Qingsu each carry a travel bag, waving goodbye to her parents before getting into the car. From a distance, her mother sighs. They just got home, and now they're off again. Her father wraps an arm around her shoulder with a soft smile. They're heading to Dong Qingsu's place. She's a wonderful girl. Maybe it's time he settled down. The two hold hands and Dong Qingsu quietly asks our boy if he's nervous. He gives a small smile and replies that the question should really be aimed at her father. Because honestly, he thinks the one who's really nervous is him. The scene then shifts to Dong Qingsu's house, where her father holds a cup of coffee in one hand and a newspaper in the other. He takes a sip, only to get a mouthful of powder. He gets mad at himself for forgetting to add water. His wife asks if he's half asleep, questioning whoever drinks coffee powder straight. She pours in the hot water, while he quietly admits that, even as a grandmaster, he's nervous. She asks why he's so worked up, saying it's just a visit from their future son-in-law. But now, with him acting like this, even she starts to feel a little nervous too. The old man gives a bitter laugh, shaking his head. He mutters that his wife just doesn't get it, and says Lu Sheng isn't some ordinary young man. He's the god of the military, the peak of humanity, and the kind of person who crushed martial saints like they were nothing. Every title and every achievement he holds could make anyone's heart race. And yet, all of that belonged to just one man. His wife, sitting beside him, wonders out loud why someone so legendary would fall for their daughter. She admits the last few days felt like a blur, like she's been living in a dream. The old man reflects, saying he always thought having 2 sons was his life's proudest achievement. But turns out, the real honor was raising Dong Qingsu, their lovely little girl. She touches her cheek with a smile, joking that maybe they were just lucky. Maybe they are blessed by their ancestors. She adds that how Dong Qingsu also takes after her. But the old man grumbles under his breath that if she really did, that'd be trouble. Then the phone on the table buzzes. It's a message from Dong Qingsu, saying they'll land in 3 minutes. The couple suddenly panics, fumbling to get ready. The old man feels the pressure, saying they need to alert everyone downstairs that Lu Sheng isn't just a son-in-law. He's someone to be treated like royalty. But his wife brings up another concern, pointing out that both the Qin and Wang families caught wind of the visit, and they're apparently heading to the airport too. She asks if that's all right. Should they be told to turn back? The old man quickly throws on his coat, waving off the idea. He explained that those families had already contacted him in advance. And since they're all old family friends saying it should be fine, then his wife nods and goes off to change her outfit as well. As the scene shifts to the airport, the plane touches down slowly. Rows of military officers stand at attention, all in uniform, all the while looking a bit nervous. However, everything's already been arranged. And as the plane doors open, Lu Sheng steps out holding Dong Qingsu's hand. Right in front of them are countless soldiers standing tall with the same face, literally. As one, they salute and shout, welcoming him and saying the cars are ready. Our boy looks at the scene and figures they're planning to clear the way for him all the way to their destination. He remembers when he first started training in martial arts, how he used to admire the powerful and the way they were treated, thinking they were like stars, always surrounded by crowds, always respected. And he used to think it was cool. But now, with strength and status both at their peak, he finds himself avoiding that flashy spotlight. He declares deep down that the higher up you are, the more distant life starts to feel, and he doesn't want to lose the small joys of just being a regular person. Dong Qingsu notices his mood and offers to go ahead on their own. He gives a light smile and agrees, saying she knows him well, that he's never liked grand entrances. Then, in a flash, he wraps an arm around her and the two of them vanish on the spot. Everyone at the airport freezes. Then chaos hits as they start shouting, shocked at where he went. The scene then shifts to a quiet street 10 kilometers away. They found themselves in a taxi. He gives the driver their address and the car rolls forward. The driver's cheerful and talkative, teasing that they must be celebrity couples or something. With looks and vibes like that, he says. They're the most stunning couple he's ever had in his cab. Lu Sheng gets a little embarrassed, mumbling that the driver's too smooth with his words. Then he leans in and whispers to Dong Qingsu, telling her to remember to tip the driver extra later, which makes her blush too. Half an hour passes. The cab finally pulls up, only to stop short. The road ahead is blocked, and a security line has been set up. Even the driver looks a little stunned seeing thousands of people packing the place. The driver glances at the blocked road and asks if some big shot is expected. Then he wonders aloud if they will even be allowed through. Lu Sheng hands him the money and casually replies that it's fine, saying they'll sneak in. The driver laughs as he takes the money, joking they better not get caught and wishing them luck. Still, deep down, he figures the two must be from some powerful family. People like them probably lived around here anyway. At the side entrance, a crowd had already gathered. The two both feel it's a bit much, and our boy jokes that even meeting a future father-in-law turns into a public spectacle. That's when they spot Qin standing under a tree, smoking. The moment the two suddenly appear behind him, Qin jumps in surprise, only to quickly break into a smile. Lu Sheng lets out a mock huff and says he's fining Qin 10 hours of military posture for not saluting a top general. Qin protests, saying Lu Sheng's being ridiculous and reminds him who helped him chase after Dong Qingsu in the first place. Lu Sheng steps forward, reaches out and says, "It's been a while, Instructor Qin." Qin pauses for a second and realizes it's the same old Lu Sheng. He also reached out while repeating, "Long time no see, Lu Sheng." Then he asks if the two came back because of the latest news. Lu Sheng raises an eyebrow, asking what news he's talking about. Qin's surprised they haven't heard. He lowers his voice and explains it's about their god of the military, the same one who recently beat down all the world's martial saints and rolled out a groundbreaking new body refining method and martial techniques. That training method, he declares, was basically a once-in-history kind of deal. Dong Qingsu rubs her chin, curious, and asks if that guy is really as strong as the rumors say. And while they're at it, she wonders if Lu Sheng has ever fought him. That's when Lu Sheng remembers he hasn't spilled the beans to anyone, but is surprised the military's kept it airtight. Still, with the way things are now, he suspects his father-in-law and a few others might already know what's going on. Meanwhile, Dong Qingsu keeps looking at him, clearly waiting for answers. What she doesn't know is that Lu Sheng's now wondering if she'll be mad when she finds out she's the last to know. Qin, now too curious to resist, steps closer and asks what really happened after he beat Zhao Jai. He explains that every time he tried to dig into it, it was marked top-level classified. He admits he's dying to know because, in his eyes, Lu Sheng is already at martial saint level. Maybe just a tiny bit short of the other dude. Before Lu Sheng can even speak, Dong Qingsu cuts in and says since he already knows, it's top secret, while adding that her man never even told her about it either. Lu Sheng then mutters saying she never asked, which earns him a sharp side-eye from Dong Qingsu, basically trying to say how she's defending him and he just throws her under the bus. Qin laughs, then suggests they head inside and talk. He admits he assumed they already knew everything and had come back for that reason. Turns out they didn't know any more than he did. But now Dong Qingsu is confused, asking why would someone that important would come to their home. Qin explains, saying it's not just them. The word going around is that this top figure is going on a bride selection tour, not only visiting her family, but also his own family, and eventually cycling through every major household in the capital and nearby cities. He points out that the higher someone's status, the more precious their genes are considered, and they know just how it is. Hearing this, Lu Sheng nearly choked and spat out a mouthful of blood. He stares at Qin in disbelief, muttering under his breath, "Who the hell made up this shit?" Lu Sheng placed his hands on his waist, approached Qin Shijun, and escaped with a sharp look where he'd heard all that. Under Lu Sheng's gaze, Qin Shijun hesitated, silently watching him. He then closed his eyes, rested a hand on Lu Sheng's shoulder, and with a cheerful smile said not to overreact was normal for martial saints to take concubines. Even the supreme martial saint had done so. Lu Sheng said nothing, studying his friend in silence. Qin Shijun let go of Lu Sheng, stretched his hand to the side, and with a proud grin said that getting a divine figure like the god of the army had been tough for the military. Lu Sheng and Dong Qingsu focused on him, eyes wide in surprise. According to him, if the god of the army didn't take 17 or 18 wives and have at least 100 kids, the high command would be furious. His eyes gleamed with pride. Wrapping his arm around Lu Sheng's neck, he teased that the god of the army was still young and full of energy. He even bet 17 or 18 wives wouldn't be enough. Lu Sheng blushed, looked down, and stayed quiet. Qin Shijun, raising a finger, confidently said the god of the army would have over 20 wives. Lu Sheng stared at his finger, stunned and confused. Qin Shijun pointed at the sky and claimed he'd father at least 100 children. Baobai looked down, silent. Lu Sheng gently punched Qin Shijun's head, telling him to stop spreading nonsense. Qin Shijun howled in fake pain, rubbing a bump and insisting it wasn't he a rumor. But he stopped, muttering Lu Sheng wouldn't he understand. Lu Sheng crossed his arms, confused. Dong Qingsu stayed lost in thought. Qin Shijun rubbed his chin, glanced at her, and smiled, telling Lu Sheng to hide Dong Qingsu well once the god of the army arrived. Lu Sheng closed his eyes and thought deeply. Qin Shijun stepped closer, observing him curiously, then said that if the god of the army noticed Dong Qingsu, there'd be trouble. Her eyes dimmed in sadness. She put her hands on Lu Sheng's shoulders, agreeing in her heart. Lu Sheng snapped out of his thoughts, confused by her touch. He rubbed his head, clearly puzzled. Lu Sheng, Dong Qingsu, and Qin Shijun all turned to stare at him. Then someone appeared behind them, 3 men. One had a shaved head and eyed Lu Sheng. The blond man locked eyes with Dong Qingsu and smiled. The brown-haired man greeted Qin Shijun, saying it had been a while. Lu Sheng looked at Qin Shijun, unsure who they were. Fear flickered in Shijun's eyes as he lowered his head and said the brown-haired man was his older brother. Bad news, especially since someone annoying had come with him. The brother lit up at the sight of Dong Qingsu and said it had been ages since her martial arts university graduation. Dong Qingsu raised her head, deep in thought, then smiled and greeted Qin Shijun. He and Lu Sheng exchanged respectful smiles. The eyes gleamed. Qin Shijun then introduced Lu Sheng as Dong Qingsu's boyfriend and general of the Eastern Military Command, and the older man as Qin Shijun. Stunned, Qin Shijun reached to shake Lu Sheng's hand, amazed someone so young was already a general. Before they could shake, someone gasped Wang Yao. Hearing Dong Qingsu had a boyfriend, he stepped forward, glaring at Lu Sheng. Calm as ever, Lu Sheng didn't flinch. Qin Shijun watched Wang Yao silently. Dong Qingsu's eyes widened in fear. Wang Yao grabbed Lu Sheng's shoulder and angrily asked since when she had a boyfriend. Her eyes full of fear, she said nervously it wasn't his business. Wang Yao smirked, then raged. He said he'd loved her for 25 years. How could she say it wasn't his concern? Dong Qingsu's fear faded, her confidence returned. Before anything escalated, Qin Shijun stepped in, exuding a strong aura. He told Wang Yao to quit the drama. No one liked him, and maybe he'd gone crazy abroad. Wang Yao clenched his fists and released martial energy, ready to fight. Qin Shiyang accepted, eager to test Wang Yao's foreign training. They were about to clash when Qin Shiyang again stepped in, aura flaring, and told them to stop. They obeyed. Qin Shiyang turned to Lu Sheng, saluted, and apologized. He asked Dong Qingsu to take Lu Sheng to the mansion. Furious but composed, she did so. Wang Yao fumed, but Qin Shiyang blocked him, warning him not to act rashly. Wang Yao muttered that Lu Sheng was nothing. Wang Yao, was disciple of a martial saint, trained by the legendary pink swordsman of the Eagle Empire. His brothers were elite level 8s. Wang Yao turned and ran off, swearing revenge. Qin Shiyang watched helplessly, knowing Wang Yao didn't realize Lu Sheng had defeated martial master Zhao Jia. If he caused trouble now, he'd risk offending the god of war, something no family could afford. He bowed to Lu Sheng and sincerely apologized. Lu Sheng, angry, admitted it was his own fault for not taking things seriously. Now he understood why power needed to be shown. It kept fools away. Dong Qingsu and Qin Shiyang looked at him, stunned. Lu Sheng said nothing. Moments later, Wang Yao returned, pointing at Lu Sheng, accusing him of stealing his woman. A group of men stood behind him. A muscular man stepped forward, curious who dared touch his people. Lu Sheng stood calmly, arms crossed. The man and others saw Lu Sheng and paled, trembling. They dropped to their knees in fear. The muscular man begged for mercy. Wang Yao stared, stunned, asking his brother what was going on. Lu Sheng took a step. The brother dropped to his knees, sweating in terror. Lu Sheng looked at the ground and said he wouldn't hold back. Golden martial energy flared. Lu Sheng's martial spirit emerged, first 10 meters, then 100, then 1,000. They looked like ants beneath it. It reached space. Dong Qingsu blushed, stunned. Wang Yao wept in fear. The others stood and saluted. Black clouds filled the sky. Dong Qingsu's parents watched from the mansion window. Her father froze. Her mother covered her mouth. He realized the god of war had arrived. Her mother gasped. Qin Shiyang's jaw dropped. Wrapped in golden energy, Lu Sheng floated down. Dong Qingsu stared, overwhelmed. He took her hand and said he'd always wanted to tell her he was the god of war, but hadn't found the right time. He feared she wouldn't accept it. She blushed, smiled, and asked if the god of war was really her boyfriend.